Hi, everybody. Crafting and Crime Daily here. Rebecca. Apparently, I went out to walk the dog and they had a verdict while I was gone for those 15 or 20 minutes. So I'm going to try to find the verdict. It was so quick. No one expected it this quick. I mean, oh, God, you know, less than 2 hours of deliberations in this thing. So I'm trying to find it. So I
Case number 2020 CF
here we go.
2603, State of Florida versus.
Not to mention the court usually gives us a little warning before they read a verdict. You know, they'll come back and they'll say, you know, we're going to give everybody a chance to get back into the courtroom. I did not hear any of that. So let's listen to the verdict. This will teach me to walk the dog while there's a verdict watch.
Sarah Boone. State, let me get your appearance for the record.
Chief Castro on behalf of the state. William J. for the state.
Defense.
James Owens for Ms. Boone. Kevin Beck for Sarah Boone. Mr. Henderson's not going to be here.
Okay, all right. Ms. Boone is seated at the counsel's table, wearing the same clothing from this morning. Yes, Mr. Beck.
Judge, they've got her in chains and they've got her in the ankle handcuffs, so she can't go anywhere. I'm just asking, we would like to rise during the jury coming in. I'm asking if there's any way we can take off the handcuffs and the waist chain so that the jury wouldn't see it in case there's something wrong with the verdict form or, you know, there's an issue, which sometimes happens, but that's my position.
Okay. I've been advised by the sheriff that during the reading of the verdict, due to Ms. Boone's status as an inmate, their leg irons and the cuffs are to be attached.
She's going to stay seated.
That's fine.
Mr. Beck's going to stay seated.
I would ask for us all to remain seated, and could you remind everybody in the gallery that there should be no emotional reactions?
I was just about to address that, sir. Thank you very much. All right, members of the jury, my understanding, or members of the gallery, good evening. My understanding is that the jury in this matter has reached a verdict. I don't know what it's going to be until it's read. If you are unable to contain yourself emotionally,
this just
and
happened
you're going to
like
react
within the last
in any way,
15
be it
minutes. I was out
enjoy
walking the
or
dog, so
in
we already know what the verdict is.
sadness,
but
I'm going to ask
I want to
you
hear it.
politely to excuse yourself at this time. There cannot be any emotional outbursts when the verdict is read. Does everybody understand that?
Actually, I
See
don't know
everybody
what the
nodding their
verdict is. I
heads.
suspect
Okay.
I know what the verdict is, but
State, are we ready to bring in our jury?
when it's that
Defense, are
quick,
we
you
ready to
pretty
bring in our
much,
jury?
it's a foregone
All right,
conclusion.
let's go ahead and bring in our jury. Everyone will remain seated.
That jury must be really wanting to get home. That means in 2 hours, they elected a 4-person, ate dinner, deliberated, and came back with a verdict. I'm just wondering how many of these people were like sitting in a restaurant and had to leave their meals to come back. Well, certainly not the defendant.
Can we enter?
State, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense, do you recognize our jury?
Yes, sir.
Members of the jury, you may be seated. Thank you. Members of our jury, good evening. I understand that you've come to a verdict in this case.
Yes.
If you could please hand the verdict form to the deputy, please. Thank you, sir. Madam Clerk, if you could please publish the verdict.
In the Circuit Court of the Ninth Judicial Circuit and in Orange County, Florida, case number 2020 CF 2603, the state of Florida versus Sarah Boone. Verdict. We, the jury, find the defendant guilty of murder in the second degree as charged in the information. So say we all, dated at Orlando, Orange County, Florida, on this 25th day of October 2024. The form has been
Madam Clerk, please poll our jury.
Juror seat number 1, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 2, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, it is.
Juror seat number 3, is this your true
Yes,
and
it
correct
is.
verdict? Juror seat number 4, is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes.
Juror seat number 5, is this your true and correct verdict?
Hi, Sarah. Yeah, it was really quick.
Is this your true and correct verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Members of our jury, again, I want to thank you for your time, your sacrifice, and your attention in this matter. I know that we spent almost 2 weeks together, and it was not taken lightly, and I really appreciate the time and the effort and the sacrifice that
Kels.
you put into
Welcome.
this case. I want to advise you now of your final instruction. Members, ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and your consideration in this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it.
She doesn't seem
Therefore,
the
the
least
law
bit
gives you
surprised
the
by
unique
this.
privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak to anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. With that, members of the jury, again, I thank you for your service.
You're right,
I'm
sir.
going to ask you return to the deliberation room. I'll be back there shortly with your jury certificates, and thank you.
Go ahead.
Ms. Boone, the jury has spoken in this matter and has found you guilty of murder in the second degree. The court adjudicates you guilty of murder in the second degree. As this is your first felony conviction, you are entitled to a pre-sentencing investigation by the Department of Corrections. Mr. Owens, are you seeking that in this case?
Yes.
Okay. State, I will order
It
the
is
Department of
during, sir.
Corrections to prepare the pre-sentencing investigation. State, for the purposes of sentencing, do you anticipate eliciting any testimony from be it the victim's family?
2 or 3 victim impact statements, sir.
Okay. Mr. Owens, do you plan on presenting any evidence during the course of the sentencing hearing, sir?
Probably some testimony from Dr. Harper.
Okay. All right. How long do you think, State, that you would need?
You mean timing wise, or are we thinking?
A quantum of time, sir. Yeah, well, normally it takes about 30 days or so. I'm confirming with Anita as to availability. I just want to know from your side of the ledger, how much time? Okay, 15 minutes. How much time do you think you're going to need to produce anything from your side of the ledger, sir? Mr. Owens?
I'd say 30 minutes.
Okay.
30 to 45.
So if we set this for an hour, that would be sufficient.
Parties agree.
Okay.
State agrees.
Is that sufficient, Mr. Owens?
Yes.
Okay, all right, give me a moment.
I just don't want to miss the date that they set the sentencing. It's going to be sometime in December, probably. December 2nd. Thank you, Sue. What other channel is Sue watching? She already knows all this. Thank you, Sue. I'm gonna have Sue as a co-host. All right, I'm gonna end the live here because I'm actually supposed to be in another live as a guest. So yeah, that is the conclusion of the Sarah Boone case. I will tell you that for this charge, she could be facing anywhere from 16 3/4 years to life in prison. Now, he did mention she's a first-time felon, so he may go towards the lighter side of that sentence, but because this was a, I don't know. I think it was particularly heinous, but I don't know what he'll think. In any case, she's already served 4 years, so she's not going to see the outside of the prison for quite some time. I don't know how old she's in her 40s now, so she'll be probably close to 60 by the time she sees the outside of a prison again. At 1 or 1:30. Thank you, Sue. I appreciate that. 1 to 1:30. Just so I can look out for it. That's appreciated. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for coming by. I've had a very long day, so I'm not, oh, she's 47. So if you do the math, she's going to be, yeah, around 60 something when she gets out of prison. All right. I will see you guys in the next video. I'm going to catch you guys up on the Delphi murders this weekend. Give you the skinny on what went on there for the rest of the week. And take care, everybody. I'm going to hop on over to Jen's channel, and I'll see you there. Take care.